The BumbleKast is for entertainment purposes only. The host's comments and opinions, and those of their guests, are wholly their own and do not represent that of any other entity. Content is provided as is, with no guarantees of accuracy or timeliness.
Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
Hey, we're here. It's time for questions. Oh, there's so many questions. But I think we got something to talk about, a few things to talk about before we actually get into questions, Ian.
Oh?
I think we do. First of all, we were on the Death Battle cast recently.
We were.
Shout out to those guys. Thank you for having us on to talk about Mega Man X versus Optimus Primal. And that was super fun. Thanks to those guys. If you want to check that out, we'll have it linked in the description. Or just head on over to the Death Battle channel and look up Death Battle Cast and find the Mega Man X versus Optimus Primal episode. That was fun.
It was. Very lovely guys. Very, very welcoming for a cast about death and battles.
Yes, they were very, very, very cool. And you also have a little thing that got announced. You're back on Mega Man.
That's right. Udon is releasing a series of standalone issues, each taking place at different epochs in the Mega Man universe timeline, and I'm doing the one for Mega Man Zero.
Wow.
Can't talk about anything more beyond that, but look forward to that and possibly more hashtag knowing smiles.
Oh, I think one of the coolest things is that your issue is the art is being done by Heavy Metal Hanzo. Mm-hmm. That guy is a beast.
You can hear the pain in my voice.
So, yeah, that's pretty sweet.
And along those lines, big shout out to friend of the show, David Oxford of Nightworks. That's Nightworks with a Y, N-Y-T-E Works. He's also a gigantic Mega Man fan and an even bigger Mega Man Legends fan, and he is doing the Mega Man Legends solo. So, huge props to him. I know this was a dream for him.
Oh, that is amazing. Holy crap. All right. Well, that is very exciting news. Ian's back on Mega Man, even if it's just the one thing. But hey, you know.
There's Mega Man in the title. There's Ian Flynn in the credits. Just be happy.
Get excited. Get hype for this product and then consume next product. Wait, hold on. No, don't do that. Or actually, hold on. What?
For now, I'm just hyped for all these questions that come from our patrons over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and our YouTube members.
Indeed. Let's start off with this one from Andrew D. Before moving on to the aftermath of Anti-Worlds Collide, I wanted to go back to a story that didn't get covered due to mostly centering around time traveling to various events. Rock of Ages. One significant thing that does happen is Base getting dragged into the time traveling as well before they ultimately attack the giant anomaly that's been following them. How do Anti-Mega Man and Anti-Base interact during this story, especially with Anti-Mega Man not knowing who Anti-Base is yet?
Well, first thing is, what would Anti-Base be? And this was post-Mega Man 7 Base.
Right.
So, regular Base is confrontational and hostile and not a big fan of Wily. He just kind of lives with the dude. So Anti-Base would be cooperative and supportive and actually like really inspired by Dr. Wily. I guess Anti-Wily has embraced the villain act at this point. It's like, fine, if Light's going to control the narrative, I'll be the best darn villain there is and save these people whether they like it or not. So to that end, I guess Base would maybe just enjoy the LARP. Yeah, I'm the bad guy. Look at these cool gold fins and I'm all black and gold. I'm going to beat you, Mega Man. Isn't this fun? And Anti-Mega Man would be like, what is wrong with you? Why are you programmed this way? But for this particular story, I guess the interaction would be that Base is used to the act. he's used to the repertoire between the two of them, and Anti-Mega Man has no idea what's going on, and that bugs the hell out of him. So he just wants to shoot the anomaly and fix things so they can go back to the way it was. He's tired of this mess. And this weird guy who's being really helpful, and he doesn't know why. It bugs him. Go away.
Get out of here, funny helmet man, with your silly swoopy wings on your head. Go away.
It's not bass, then why do you have fins?
But here's one from C-Man. Uh-oh, Wario just walked into the Bumble compound. What procedures are taken to prevent Wario from causing a problem? And are these procedures successful?
The only successful procedure in this scenario is to hide. To not engage. Let him raid the fridge and get bored and leave. Because any other confrontation is just going to end poorly. Either we're going to get shoulder checked through a wall or drawn into a series of mini games that will not end well for us. Because I have no twitch reflexes. No, just let him in. Let him just like walk around and stink up the place for a minute, and then he'll leave and we can clean up and just move on with our lives.
Well, I mean, you should be pretty used to guys walking around and stinking up the place because I'm there. So, wouldn't be all
just
that
in general. You don't have the mustache. Let's be honest.
No. I don't want the mustache. I'm not a facial hair guy. I never have been. Caleb has a question. How familiar are you with the cyberpunk genre? Examples, Ghost in the Shell, Blade Runner, and Akira.
Passingly familiar. I don't know if I could do something in that genre without doing a little more research, but I have seen Ghost in the Shell, and I only saw the original dub of Akira. I do want to see the redub, because apparently that fixes a lot of stuff. Did read the manga, and that's night and day. They're completely different. Read the manga if you get the chance. It's massive.
Yeah.
But that general sense of detachment, I guess, the examination of what it means to be human in these scenarios, and how do you define yourself, how do you maintain yourself, are all very interesting. And that degree of desperation and hopelessness, but also sometimes with this weird burning hope that it can endure. I don't know. It's interesting, but I'm again not savvy enough with it to really weigh in on it in any kind of analytical writing perspective.
Yeah. I really like the look of cyberpunk anime, like Alita and Bubblegum Crisis and Dirty Pair. I think all of those look really good. I need to actually sit there and watch them and actually like experience the stories from them. But I mean, the looks of them is like, yeah, you know what? I like how these art styles look. They're really good, like cyberpunk style stories that are still colorful and not really like, so dark and dreary.
And it's grungy, but it's with art direction.
Exactly.
God, some of the stuff they could animate in the late 80s.
Uh-huh.
Like, I know Akira set the bar really high, Ghost in the Shell too, that not everyone could match that, but to look at what they've done and how well it's endured, and to think somebody did that by hand. This is pencil and ink and paint. My God, nothing today matches that. I don't care how old that makes me sound. Nothing matches 80s grungy anime.
There's just something about it. It's just like the vibe is just perfect. I like it. All right, KB has a question. What are your thoughts on the Shrek 5 teaser? Do you think the reactions to the new designs are justified, or do you think the internet is just ogre reacting? I honestly don't think the redesigns are that bad.
I don't see all that difference. Like, Donkey's hair is longer? ?
It looked like pretty much the same.
I'm sure if you sat down and had like a side-by-side comparison, you could point it out, but maybe Shrek looks a little thinner. older, my God, the progression of time.
But no.
As long they as were all recognizable.
As long as they didn't give Shrek green arms. Wait, hold on.
I don't know. The teaser didn't really tell me anything about the movie other than there's been a significant time skip, which, okay. And I'm not super invested in the Shrek lore, so I'm not as bothered by changes. I guess.
I'm just like,
it's fine.
Why are there 5 of these movies? And I'm like, well, money, I guess.
Well, that's the thing. I thought there were more than that already.
I thought there were like some direct-to-video things that happened. Direct-to-home video.
I don't counting those or not. I don't know.
I guess there have been shorts. Or Puss in Boots is, well, it's a spin-off, though. But
right.
Yeah.
I do wonder if it's going to have any connection to Last Wish, since that ended with, I think, them sailing off to far, far away.
Yeah.
But I don't know. On the one hand, if they're bringing back Shrek after a little bit of a hiatus, because I don't know when 4 came out, establish what is new current Shrek and then do your crossover film. That might be fun. At the very least, what Shrek 5 looks like visually is very different from Puss in Boots Last Wish, so that would be a weird visual jive. I don't know how you would address that, but it ain't my project to figure out, so just kind of sit here and see how it falls into place.
Alrighty. Comic the Hedgehog has a question. Johnny Bravo tries to flirt with Olivia Armstrong, Aritza Hawkeye, Izumi Curtis, and Lanfan at various intervals. How many different ways is he murdered, and will anyone find the body?
Oh, mama. No, he's 7 ways to dead. That, like, with Olivia Armstrong. God almighty. I'll see her blonde. I'm blonde too. That gives us a connection. And she might tolerate him because he's so far beneath her, she wouldn't sully her sword or boot to dispatch with him. Let the cold of the north finish him off.
Oh boy.
Riza's got everything on lockdown. She's not going to rise to the bait. And, just it so happens that he's 50 kilometers away and she was target practicing in the bell tower. You can't prove anything. Mustang will cover for her. Izumi Curtis, she will not tolerate that nonsense. She will judo flip him into the floor repeatedly until he learns his lesson, which he won't. So
obviously not.
You're not going to be able to transmutate enough to bring him back. And Lan Fan, I think she'd be more weirded out than anything. What is this weird man and these weird sayings until he starts doing his faux karate. And then she takes that as a sign of aggression and breaks his arm.
Well, I mean, they all break his arm, probably. I don't know how he even got those 2 extra arms, but they're there. They're there somehow. And they're broken. Darth Lord has a question. Let's say Nintendo did allow you to write a Star Fox comic series. If it was up to you, would you prefer to stick to the lore of one timeline or make a new one that factors in elements of the timelines, like having Miwa and Faye from Star Fox 2 be among the N64 era characters?
In my mind, what I want to do is the Star Fox 64 to Star Fox Command timeline and give it the Mega Man treatment where fill in the blanks and expand on the world and the lore and the settings where applicable and go everywhere from the initial Andross invasion to the final deal with, what were the fish people called?
Oh, shoot. I am completely blanking.
Fake Star Fox fan.
Yep.
You know what I mean, though. And then pick up the threads of the various alternate endings, the ones that make the most sense to carry on with, and go on to Marcus McCloud and his team in the 3rd generation of Star Fox and explore that. With stuff like Miu and Faye, as sorely tempted as I am to bring them in, I feel like they're so indicative of Star Fox 2, and that, albeit very short timeline, makes that more special. Like, I would just as likely want to see a timeline that deals with the old Nintendo Power comics and Star Fox 1 and Star Fox 2 in its own timeline, in its own exploration. and then Zero's off doing its own thing as well. And because of the multiple endings in Command, you have a multiverse scenario set up. So all of them are valid and all of them are visitable at some point.
Sure.
So, but that's getting so huge in scope, it's not even worth considering at this point. I mean, honestly, I'm not going to get to do any of this, so none of it's worth considering. But by God!
But you want to, dang it.
I want to do 64 to Command. That is my mountain peak that I wish to climb.
Yes. Nintendo, hire this man, please. Or something. Something. Do something. Somebody do something, please. Double L is here. And, this is a long one. But there's a reason why it's long. The longest text adventure of your lives continues. Only slightly perturbed by your body moving on its own, as if it were shared with someone else, you continue on. As a freebie, neither of you see anyone else in the room. Each time you move against your will, you are aware it is caused by a familiar, non-threatening presence. Actions resolve as they come in. Assume that you both do every action unless otherwise stated. Check clipboard. The brown clipboard is only visible from the back as the nurse is reading it and she is standing facing the window. The flipped pages are mostly illegible from this side, and whatever writing you can see, you are unable to read. The bottom of the clipboard does seem to still have a price tag, but it is not in any script you recognize. Check space under the bed. There are several dust bunnies under the bed. There is also a delicious-looking mouse watching you, frozen with fear. There is a mouse-sized hole near the back against the wall, likely leading to the mouse's house. Okay, first of all, delicious-looking mouse.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on here? Why does the mouse look delicious? Hang on. What's going on, Ian?
I feel like that is some kind of bait, but I'm not going to rise to it because our mouse friend is in fear, and we need to be friends with our mouse friend.
Our delicious-looking mouse friend.
I think we need to be friends with the small army of dust bunnies that are under the bed.
Uh-huh.
So I'm thinking, but it's one action and one noun, right?
I suppose, yeah. Something like that. Hold on, let's establish something here. This seems strange. Like, are we in the same body?
Yes.
That seems to be the case. Something like that.
Like, I think we figured that out. It seems to make sense here.
Yeah,
I don't see you, you don't see me, but we are both reacting to the same thing and getting the same inputs. So
yes, something like that.
We must be some weird hybrid Kylie infusion.
Okay.
Until we can find a mirror, we're just going to assume that we've done the fusion dance and we are Kylie and looking around.
Okay.
I want to recruit an army of dust bunnies.
Okay.
So I'm going to shoot my shot and say, recruit dust bunnies.
Okay. I'm trying to think. I'm gonna say investigate the mouse hole. Like, look in it to see what's going on in there.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Here's a question from Flynn Toaster. If you could tell or enforce all of fandom and fandom culture on one thing, what would it be?
Be kind to each other.
Mine, I would say, calm down.
I mean, that kind of goes together. That's in the Venn diagram.
Yeah, calm down. Just calm down. Hero Squad has a question. Have you heard of Dinosaur King?
I feel like I have, but I don't know what that is. And I feel like if I Google it, I'm going to come up with 500 different options.
Dinosaur King. Is that the arcade game that's like card game? Yeah. It's the arcade game. It's made by Sega, apparently. It is the arcade game where you, I think you have like card decks and you make dinosaurs fight each other or something like that. It might be. I feel like that's what it is, but I might be
so it's kind of like
hallucinating that.
So maybe it's like Sega's answer to Fossil Finders or something?
A little bit. It's digital collectible card game is what it's called. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
I remember seeing those in GameWorks like back in the mid to late 2000s, because it came out in 2005. I remember it being pretty popular, and then it was gone. All right. And our last question before we take a break is from Knuckles Omega. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers cross My Hero Academia. Who would become the Rangers?
All right. Assuming the one generation that I'm familiar with.
Well, it did say Mighty Morphin, so...
All right, true. All right, yep, okay.
Yeah, specify.
We'll put Mustang as Red Ranger, because he leads everybody. Why not? Hawkeye is Pink Ranger, because you got to have the marksman be the bow woman. I mean, that only makes sense. Maybe Lanfan as Yellow Ranger. You know, they use Sai, Kunai, Dagger, tiny pointy objects. Maybe.
Wait, hold on. This is My Hero Academia, isn't it?
You know what? You're absolutely right. I don't know where I got Full Metal Alchemist out of MHA.
Well, I mean, MHA, FMA. I don't know, man.
I'm still hung up on the Johnny Bravo question, I guess.
I'm like sitting here like, wait a minute. These are characters you mentioned in the other question who I think are from Full Metal Alchemist, not My
and
Hero
see,
Academia.
I was all set to fill out the roster and then put Ed as the Green Ranger and Al as the Dragon Sword. But now, no, can't do that because that's not what the question asks.
Yeah, well, hey, a bonus answer. There you go. You get 2 for the price of 1.
There go my dreams of Edward Alaric as the Dragon Sword for the thumbnail. Boo-hoo.
We can still do that. I think it is stop.
Yeah, but it's not relevant. Anyway, all right, so My Hero Academia. Did I mention I recently hit my head? All right. I guess Pinky has to be Pink Ranger. I mean, I know it's not very original, but it's right there.
Are they conveniently color coordinated?
Not as much as you would think.
No? Okay.
Maybe Froppy is Yellow Ranger? This is a lot harder than the Full Metal one. Dadgummit. Blanking on names here.
I'm being told Froppy can just be the whole squad.
I mean, true enough.
I don't know much about My Hero Academia, but I know Froppy. And I'm like, yeah, that tracks.
Maybe Momo is Red Ranger. She seems to be like the one with her actual head on her shoulders.
Crazy.
Nobody really fits Blue Ranger at all. Maybe
there's no
we'll
nerds?
go with Kirishima because he kind of looks like a Triceratops if you squint.
Oh, Triceratops, I guess. I was just thinking nerd.
And, well, I mean, they're all kind of nerds to some degree.
Well, I mean, aren't we all?
Maybe Pinky's Black Ranger instead because she's the only one who can, like, dance. And that was, like, Zach's thing, is he danced.
I suppose. Who is Ida? IIDA?
Yeah, I mean...
As Blue?
Nah. He's too uptight. He's... Nah. He's driven by justice and engine-powered legs. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking this. I'm not seeing a good parallel between a lot of this. This is not syncing for me. This is not working.
Well, maybe it should be. FMA. Well,
fine. Final joke answer. Shoji is the Dragon Sword. Take that mask off. It'll work.
Alrighty. All right. Well, now that we've used up all of Ian's brain power, let's take a quick break and then come back with more on the BumbleKast.
We're the bee and the berry. I'm the bee.
Straubs. No, I'm the bee.
Oh, my bad. We can get that right.
No, we can get that.
Okay. We're the bee and the berry.
I'm the bee.
And I'm Strawberry.
And The Bee and the Berry is an irregularly scheduled podcast where we talk all things Sonic, writing fan fiction, and fan creation.
We snoop around at fan events, review the latest and hottest Sonic content, and host interviews with our fellow Sonic fan creators.
You know, just girly things.
And hey, if you want, you can totally send us any discussion topics or questions you'd like us to talk about, and we might answer them.
Or we might not.
But hey, you never know. You can find us on Twitter, Blue Sky, Tumblr, and YouTube at The Be The Berry.
Okay, we're running out of time here. Gotta grow fast.
Ciao!
We are back, and we have a question from Majo Bunny. What is the art scene like on Galaxant? Is it more underground or commercialized? Does each region have its own preference in style or trends? Which region would be the most experimental?
Oh, yeah. You're casting a huge net here, because each individual realm is going to have its own history, its own culture, and that's going to affect its arts and how they are presented. Within Humaheim specifically, most consumable art is very commercial. It is very driven. It is very directed. And the tighter your constraints get on society, the more outrageous your underground scene is going to be. So the counterculture art scene within Humaheim is extremely experimental, very challenging and interesting and sometimes odd, but it really goes out of its way to break the mold and challenge norms. But they have to keep it way on the down low, because you do not do this in polite society, and there is nothing but polite society in Galaxant. Strange smile emoji. There's a joke in there about the Nermans being underwater working with watercolor. Har, har, har. But in actuality, using more fluid mediums or creating suspended art within their aquatic environment, and maybe their entire mentality over the nature of art and it being ephemeral because it can't last, would be an interesting direction to do with things.
Yeah.
Enchantingheim culture is based a lot on the preconceived notions of beauty. What are beauty standards universally? That influences their architecture and their self-care and everything. So a lot of art is geared to be beautiful. And again, because the more constraints you have, the harder the counterculture will go. So there's probably a fantastic punk scene within Enchantingheim about, embracing ugliness or finding the beauty in the imperfect. We could probably do this all damn day. So that's just a sampler, but that is an excellent prompt. See, this is what I love about the Drogoon universe as it's getting up and rolling, is that once I have things set, once we're going somewhere with it, I can find ways to open doors for other people to weigh in and get their creative input and see what they do in this universe and explore this. Like someone with an actual art degree, someone who understands art history and on a global scale and can see where it would be applicable or at least run parallels within the Drogon universe, could probably do something really fascinating with this. So one day, Kyle, one day.
That's exciting. Your excitement for it is kind of infectious. It's like, yeah, that's all right. Time for Drogoon. Let's Drogoon the place up. All right, we got a question from Mel. Have either of y'all ever messed around with Mario Paint? Been seeing a few friends get back into it, and it got me wondering. Bonus tie-in fact for the listeners, some early Homestar Runner stuff was done in Mario Paint. Actually, I'm pretty sure that was where it was like first conceived, was via Mario Paint.
I think so, yeah. I never got a chance to mess around with it. I just kind of know of it in passing.
Oh, I spent a ton of time messing around with Mario Paint. Was never any, it didn't build any sort of talent with it. I did have fun experimenting with the Music Maker, kind of like taking the demo songs and like messing them up a bit or swapping out like different instruments to see what it sounded like and things like that. Jeez, it's like almost like remixing or something weird. I also loved the Fly Swatter game. I really did. The Coffee Break Fly Swatter game. I played a whole heck of a lot of that. I just really like the music, especially from just all of it, but especially like levels 1 and 2. The song in that level 1's like do 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 do. It's very jazzy. Like yes, this is good. This is good. And then the second one is a bit more like kind of chill, which is weird. Even think a mini game about swatting flies would be so chill, but it is.
Well, time's fun when you're swatting flies.
Yes. I was really happy to see all of the Mario Paint references in Mario Maker. Personally, it's like, oh, they remember Mario Paint exists. Wow, amazing. So, yeah, I like me some Mario Paint. Moreless has a question. Hey, Ian, if I wanted to submit a story proposal to a comic publisher such as IDW, how exactly should I go about it? Would it be better to just write an overview of my idea and submit a select sample of the story, or write a full manuscript? How do story proposals generally work at places like IDW or Archie, etc.?
If you have a contact with the editor, the first step would be to just email or reach out to them and say, hi, I have a pitch. I'm interested in pitching to you. Are you accepting springboards right now? And if they say, no, not right now, you go, thank you for the opportunity. Please let me know whenever that you are available, or give it like 3 months and follow up again saying, hi, I know it's been a bit, wondering if things have opened up. If you do not have a contact for the editor, you don't, which is incredibly frustrating. I know. And it's the catch-22 of the industry. You can't really make any headway without knowing anybody, but you don't know anybody until you're in the industry. So best you can do is, if you're a writer, is to produce your own stuff. And if you have the opportunity through a artist connection or a portfolio review or the extremely rare open call for submissions, go through those avenues. But otherwise, you don't have a direct way to pitch stuff.
Which is kind of frustrating, but
yeah.
I mean, it's better than it used to be when, we didn't have like email and stuff. Like the only way would be to go in person to like trade shows or whatever. It's like, at least now we have more options, but yeah, it's still.
And even if you do have a direct line, like I know a lot of editors, so I have the luxury of just pinging them and saying, hey, I have something. Are you interested? And 9 times out of 10, it's like, no, we're full up, because everyone who has that connection is trying to get something off the ground.
Right.
So having folks outside that they have not worked with, that they haven't built a rapport with, is just not as enticing a notion. I don't mean to discourage, like, network as best you can. Make the connections with other folks within your discipline, so that if they get a headway in, they might be able to open a door for you and you can seize upon the opportunity. But also do your own thing, make your own art, tell your own stories. And if that generates hype, you might get noticed and invited into the circle. There's no guarantees, but there are no guarantees in life either. So just do. That's it. Just do, create. And from there, hope everything falls into place.
All right. Pedanticat has a question. Let's give Wonder Woman some love, since Lord knows she barely gets any from DC and Warner Brothers. What are your thoughts on the various aspects of her? Her character, her villains, writers who claim she's hard to write, the fact that despite being the most popular female superhero and being around for over 80 years, she has yet to get an animated series, with her planned video game getting canceled, etc.
I'm honestly not that familiar with Wonder Woman.
It is frustrating, though. I really wanted to see a Wonder Woman game. Like, what the heck is up with that? And the fact that there's never been a Wonder Woman animated series, that doesn't seem right. That sounds incorrect, but no, it's correct.
I would love to, but I'm honestly not as familiar with Wonder Woman as some of the other DC heroes. I would need to do a lot more research into her and her pantheon, joke somewhat intended, to really, riff on the idea that is Wonder Woman. Does she deserve better? Yes. Am I the one to do it right this second? Probably not.
Well, you could just call up Renee. She'll help you out.
Well, yeah, but
I guess in that instance, just have her do it, because she already did an amazing job once. Certainly she can do an amazing job again.
Send to the professionals. I just hope I did her justice in the DC and Sonic crossover starting soon. Check out your local retailer. Plug, blah, blah, blah.
All right, Soccer Cod has a question. I have some questions regarding Particle Man and Person Man. Is Particle Man a dot or is he a speck? When he's underwater, does he get wet or does the water get him instead? Is Person Man depressed or is he a mess? Does he feel totally worthless? Who came up with Person Man?
Again, not super familiar with the lore. All that I really know is that Universe Man is the size of the entire universe, man.
It's true.
I haven't thought about that song in ages. That's fun. Thank you.
I really like this one when it came in. I'm like, oh boy, this one could be fun. Universe Man really hates Triangle Man. Person Man living his life in a garbage can.
Is he a dot or is he a speck? When he's in the water, does he get wet or does the water get him instead?
Yes.
I'll have to look that up later.
Yes, yeah. I haven't listened to it in forever, but Spoiler 1001 has a question. Has researching for a project led you down any rabbit holes where you learned something you never got to bring up in normal conversation?
Oh, that's my career.
You know a little bit about everything, and none of it is useful.
Like, I feel like I'm Scott Pilgrim at the party talking about Sonic or Mega Man or whatever. It's like, no one cares outside of those fandoms, bro. The real joke there is me being at a party or any kind of social engagement.
It happened a few times at MagFest.
That was work.
Once. Well, hey, not all of it. Not all of it. Stephen A. has a question. The Brothers Chaps contact you to do Strong Bad's awesome mini-series for cool dudes. 4 issues. Strong Bad's computer's gone. How do you write it?
With terror in my heart. Because I think, gun to my head, I could emulate the Brothers Chaps, but I cannot recreate their special brand of surrealism. Like,
you'd need to consult them for like everything, I think.
If it was a collaboration where I help guide the structure of the comic so that it functions as a comic,
yeah,
but they drive everything else, that would be the best case scenario.
I think that would make the most sense.
I can make callback jokes. I can wing it with some of their humor, but their brand of humor is so uniquely their own. Maybe I'm overthinking it again. Like, maybe I could do this. It's just, I'm so intimidated because I hold it in such high esteem. It's like, how do you reach that level on purpose? I don't know.
I think you could pull it off. I think you could do it, but it would be, you're right. It would be tough. There's something about it that's just like, it just seems very, I think it's just so unique that it's hard to emulate. But
I don't know. I can just imagine myself 5 pages in and running out of ideas and out of panic. Homestar non sequitur. Right, Reggie. Have you seen the rhinoceros? Oh God, it's not working.
Oh no. Oh well. If nothing else, you can always do the Ian Flynn thing and rely on references. And callback.
Hey, I'm sorry. Remember that time we did a thing? Well, we're just going to recreate it for like 7 panels and then cash the check.
It sure would be a shame if this were a cool game for attractive people. Here's one from the Cyberspace Coco. I've been replaying the Donkey Kong Country games, and man, David Wise's music is fantastic. I want to ask Kyle, but you can answer too, Ian. What's your favorite Donkey Kong music? For me, DKC2 has one of my favorite video game soundtracks of all time, with Crook's March, Enchanted Wood, Mighty Melancholy, and of course, Stickerbush Symphony.
Kyle, I do believe this is well within your wheelhouse. I'm sitting here going, yeah, the monkey music, good.
It
you
is.
know, in the level. No. Let the master take the reins.
The
here.
monkey music is good, Ian. It's true. The monkey music is very good. Yes. David Wise is a legend. There's a reason why his music has endured. And, but I'm going to pull one out on you that you might not be expecting. I'm going to go with, what is it? Is it 9-4? The boss battle theme from Donkey Kong 94 for the Game Boy. That is, that theme is just like ridiculously over the top metal for some reason in this random Donkey Kong game. Also, that's still one of the greatest games of all time because it starts out as like a traditional, like, you know, Donkey Kong port. You think you're just getting a Donkey Kong game. But then you beat originally the last level in the original Donkey Kong, and suddenly it opens up and you get a whole gigantic game beyond that. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's one of my favorite Game Boy games. Definitely. That is an awesome game. And the music across the board for that game is pretty awesome. But that one boss battle theme, I want to say it is 9-4 in Donkey Kong 94 for the Game Boy, is just so good. Such a good one. But, I mean, really, you honestly can't go wrong with Donkey Kong musically. Like, trying to think of, like, at least any of the mainline Donkey Kong games, Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Country, I'm like, there ain't a bad tune in any of these, really. Like, even the original is a classic. Like, the do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Yeah, I mean, that's legendary. Sure, it's like a 4-note loop, but still. I don't know, man. What do you think, Ian?
Monkey music good.
Monkey music good? Yeah, monkey music is very good, yes.
Of course, now I'm thinking of that mallet theme, the and having Smash Brothers flashbacks. No!
I mean, again, that's another classic, though, to be fair, but yeah.
But in the spirit of the question, like the first thing that popped into my head was the boss theme out of Donkey Kong Country 1.
Yeah. I mean,
such a good boss track. I mean, it's upbeat, it's adventurous, it's intimidating, it gets you pumped.
There's Donkey Kong Country across the board is just like, there really isn't a bad track anywhere in those. Like, I'm hard pressed to think of one. Like,
I didn't really play 3 all that much, so I can't speak to it, but I don't feel like it was quite as memorable as the other two.
And the 3
or am I just full of crap?
3 is kind of interesting. I mean, it's good. There's definitely a lot to like. It actually, I mean, it's one of those games that has 2 soundtracks because the Game Boy port has a different soundtrack. The Game Boy Advance port, I should say, has a different soundtrack. Weirdly, so there's like 2 soundtracks for that game. But yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. But there's still some good stuff in DKC 3. But DKC 2 there's definitely certain tracks in that are legendary. And of course, got to talk about Aquatic Ambiance from DKC 1, the underwater theme. There's like, that's like the underwater theme, unless you're talking about like Dire Docks from Mario 64, but it's like those two. Like, yeah, it's still those 2 songs are like, okay, these are underwater themes. Thank you. Yes. And our last question on this episode comes to us from Twilord. To defend human creativity, Mega Man takes out Large Language Model Man. What weapon does he get from it?
I don't know. Sums up the Duolingo owl.
See, I was thinking H-bomb. Hallucination bomb. Yes. It hallucinates and gives you all the wrong answers and starts repeating things and glitching out. Kind of like us. Just in our normal everyday lives. Glitching out and repeating things. That is.
Glitching out and repeating things?
Glitching out and repeating things.
Glitching out and repeating things.
Yeah, glitching out and repeating things. Anyway, that's all we got for this.
This is the height of humor we've
BumbleKast.
reached. Have I said recently that I've hit my head?
What's my excuse then?
Well, just that you glitch out and repeat things.
A glitch out and repeat things?
All right, that's enough of that. Thank you to everyone who supports the show via patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, or by being a YouTube member. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we will see you next time on the BumbleKast.
Don't glitch out and repeat things. Ready to keep going?
This is bothering me. This should be easy. I think I'm overthinking it.
Oh, irony.
All right.
Stop doing that. Stop overthinking it. You only have so much thinky time.
I can feel the gray matter just melting in the pan here. So yeah, let's keep moving.
Okay.
I'm still hung up on that Power Rangers Hero Academia thing. This should be a slam dunk. Why can't I not put this together?
Just go based on colors and call it. There you go. You're done. I know it won't work that way, but the answer is Froppy. Apparently. That's what I'm being told.
I made a point of resting today, but I am not 100%.
A little slow. That's all right. No worries. That's why we have the magic of editing.
Indeed, indeed.
I can speed you up in post.
Well. And then to the final cut. Well, everyone, here's my suave voice. Thank you, Kyle.
Exactly. All right.
You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org.
Listen, just because you're intelligent doesn't mean you can't make mistakes.
I wouldn't know myself, but
Me
I'll take your word for
Me
it.
neither, but I heard someone say that once.
They sound intelligent.
I don't know. I don't think I heard anyone say that once. Except me, just now.
My God.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard said. No, it's not.
Just because you're intelligent doesn't mean you can't say dumb shit.
Uh-huh. It's true. All right.